everyone, this is Nick. I'm just going to go over now how to complete a student expense report. So as you'll see right here on the right is a screenshot of the expense report that we are using for this academic year. And it will be on the submitter and treasurer to ensure everything is accurate upon submission. So all of your instructions for submission were on the pulse pointers, the treasurer FAQs. Those will also be at the end of the pulse form that you will have to complete at the conclusion of this training. So when you're filling everything out, make sure the name up here and the address of the recipient of the funds is all correct, as well as the student ID, class, or student organization. When you're filling this out, make sure the account distribution box is filled out. So that's this box right here. So you'll need to know the GL account that the funds are coming from. And so that will be, that was sent out in the pulse pointers earlier this year, but it also will be at the end of this form that you will have to complete the question. So you'll need to know the GL account number that the funds are being debited from when you are completing this expense report. It is vital because if this field is not completed, your request will get denied and you will have to resubmit it. So make sure you do that when you are submitting the expense report. Also, make sure the expense report and the amount on the receipt match exactly. So even if it's a couple cents, if the amounts do not match exactly, that will be denied and you will have to resubmit that. If you are applying for reimbursement and the money does not match the receipt and the amount that you're requesting, say you went to the store and you bought some personal items on the same account, still apply for reimbursement, but please explain why in this purpose field that you are not getting reimbursed for that exact amount. So just explain personal items have been purchased, item X was purchased for this dollar amount, hence the reimbursement requested is that. Your expense report must be signed as well. So if it's not signed, then it will get denied. So make sure you sign it and when you do submit it. You can sign it with an e-signature, that is acceptable, but it does need some sort of signature in order to get approved for reimbursement. Also make sure the documents are submitted in PDF format. So when the person filling out this form completes it, make sure they send it to you as the treasurer via PDF format. That way you do not have to convert it yourself. If they don't send it to you, you will have to convert the PDF when you submit it to us. So we just want to make sure that is easier. It's easier on you in that they do it themselves before they submit it to you. So actually how to submit for reimbursement. So the student from your organization will give you the expense report, which we just covered. And like I said, ask the student to send it to you in a PDF format so you do not have to convert it prior to uploading. Please try and submit it all as one document. So please have the expense report and the receipts all attached as one specific document rather than two separate attachments. Please verify that the expense report is filled out properly and signed by the student. And that the receipts are legible and the amount matches on the expense report. Like I said, if they don't match, please give a justification as to why they are not the same. If an attendance list is required, say you purchase some food for a meeting, you will need to require an attendance list or an event flyer for that food. So you also need to sign in to your student portal to request that payment under the requisition for check. So you'll see up here under student services, you'll click under check request for that. Here's the actual check request page. So you'll need to enter the payee's account, ID number. So if you can't find it, you can search it here, but they should have attached it on the expense report, so it should be there for you. And you'll need to determine whether it's a rushed item or just normal. If it's needed to be rushed or not, and whether it's COVID related or not. And again, here's your GL account. So make sure that is filled out correctly and noted when you're submitting this. Under the justification, you will put what the reimbursement is for, whether it's supplies for your org, whether it's food from an event. You'll need to put that there, and then you'll need to declare whether it's going to be direct deposit or paper check. That'll be here. If you do note paper check, you will have to also say where you are sending the paper check to. So make sure you note that there. And then here's where you will attach your expense report and any documentation for your reimbursement. You'll do that under the attachment piece right here. And then your invoice number, you can just put student, and then the invoice date, obviously the date that you're submitting, and then description, you'll just note that it is a reimbursement as well. So you'll hit continue, and it'll ask you, there's no attachment for this request. Obviously you would have an attachment, but we're going to continue for the sake of this. And then it'll take us to a next page. And then under item number, you will put the person's name, first name under item number and last name under the item name. Description and comment are optional, so you do not have to worry about that. And then your quantity, you'll put 1, and then your reimbursement amount right here. And you'll see this will upload. You hit save line item, and then you would hit submit requisition right here. Make sure all of that is correct when submitting, and then you would hit submit. I'm not going to hit submit for the sake of the training, but you would submit it there, and then it would go to student services as well as business services in order to be approved. So next, we will cover status of your reimbursement, whether it's denied or approved. If the information is submitted incorrectly, the requisition will be denied. Don't freak out if it's denied. It's often just a simple extra information is needed or something was not filled out correctly on the expense report. So it will be noted in the email that you would receive when it is denied, but you can also check on a denied request by viewing the actual request and then view approval status. There will be a justification as to why the request was not approved. You will need to recreate it and resubmit it. So just make sure you keep all of your documentation readily available until your request has been approved by all parties. You are the person responsible for tracking these check requests for any changes. So if you submit it, please follow it through the entire process to make sure it does go through and get fully approved. If you're not following it and we do deny it, it would be on you to resubmit it, and we want to make sure the people who are requesting that money, they do get it in a timely fashion. So just make sure you are tracking it throughout the duration of the approval process through its entirety. You'll also see, I will show you on another page. These are all some current check requests. You can see right here if a paper check was cut and sent out. Oh, I'm sorry. If a paper check was cut and sent out, you'll see it's noted check here and then the date it was cut. Similarly, if it was a direct deposit, you will see this designation right here as well. And I will also show you if it's denied, you will see a denied status, and then you'll have to resubmit for approval. So make sure you follow that accordingly. Make sure you follow that accordingly. And if you need to adjust to look back at previous events, you can always adjust the date on your submission as well by changing the date up here. So make sure you follow that and follow that through the entirety of the reimbursement process. So next we will give you some questions about what we just covered, and we'll continue to present on the treasurer training.